Hello and welcome. This is Christina Hills from the Website Creation Workshop, and welcome to this special call on 5 productivity tips for working faster and smarter online. And if you've never been on a call with me before, when you come on to the GoToWebinar, there is a place for you to either listen on telephone or microphone and speakers. If for some reason the audio gets funny, you can switch to telephone. And my calls are all very interactive, so there is a place, you should see this little tab on your screen and a place for you to type in questions, and I will be taking questions at the end. I will be doing slides and demos and then going to your questions. So if you can see this question box, if you can just type in and say, yeah, I got it, so that I know everybody is in the right place. And I see lots of yeses and I got it and all of that. Okay, cool. So we'll have lots of time for questions and interaction as well. All right, so let's just roll right into it. So, who am I? My name is Christina Hills. I am a WordPress coach and teacher, and I've been teaching a program called the Website Creation Workshop for the past 11 years. And what I'm doing today is not talking about WordPress. I'm going to be doing a WordPress training next week. Today, I'm going to be talking about productivity tips. Productivity tips. So let's just dive right into it. All right, tip number 1, use multiple browsers. So what is a browser? Browsers let you connect to the internet. So you get on your computer and you boot it up, whether you're on a laptop or a desktop, and the way you get on the internet is you go through a browser. And Macs and PCs both use browsers. So I'm just curious, what do you use? Are you a Mac person or a PC person? And I don't have a poll for this, so you can just type in the chat box if you're a Mac or a PC. And we got lots of Mac people, lots of PC people. It's kind of split. That's cool. Well, what I'm teaching you today is going to work for both Macs or PCs. All right, so there are different browsers you can use, and there's more than these. So these are the logos of the different browser companies. There's Firefox, Chrome, Safari, and Internet Explorer, which is being phased out and replaced by something called Edge. So when you're looking at your site, either your own site, if you're going to build your own site, or anybody else's site, sites can look slightly different in different browsers. So this is Chrome. So this is my website, the websitecreationworkshop.com. This is my blog in Chrome. Here's my site in Firefox. Here's my site in Internet Explorer. And they have a new logo now, by the way. And here's my site in Safari. So I'm going to take a little poll. What browser do you use? So primarily, what browser do you use? And do you use Firefox, Chrome, Safari, Internet Explorer, or something else? And if you can just type on the screen, and if you're listening on an iPad, it's okay to type in the chat. It's always interesting to see what browsers people use. This is your primary browser. We're going to be talking about multiple browsers. Okay, I'm going to close this poll, and I will share the results. 24% uses Firefox, 44% uses Chrome, 19% Safari, 11% Internet Explorer, and 2% use something else. So I'm guessing the something else is Edge or maybe Opera, some other kind of browser. Okay, but we got the major ones there. All right, so I want to talk about why to use multiple browsers. So why should you use multiple browsers? You want to use multiple browsers for a few different reasons. And the reason why I'm teaching this is because I want to have you ready for my next WordPress training so that you can have multiple browsers on your computer in case you don't already. You want to have one because the same website can look different in different browsers. Another reason why you want to use multiple browsers is because sometimes websites work better in a certain browser. So if ever I'm doing something and I'm having trouble, like I was trying to book tickets to go to Boston, my mom's in Boston, and on Firefox, the browser was doing something weird, so I switched to Chrome to book my tickets. So that's one reason why you want to have multiple browsers. Sometimes they work better sometimes certain websites work better in different browsers. And another reason why is so that you can have an admin view, an administrator view, and a visitor view at the same time. So let me show you an example. I have this site that I'm building called My Favorite Plugins. And when you go to My Favorite Plugins, you see this Coming Soon page, right? So for the public, this site is blocked. It is under construction, and you can't see the outside of it. But if I log in and look at it in another browser, I can see the inside of it. So the same site in two browsers, I can be working in one browser and I can still see what people are seeing on the outside. And if you just joined us, we just got started and I'm talking about using multiple browsers. So here's one of my students, and she's got a coming soon. So what that means is she's building her site, she's got her domain name, and she wants something to look much more interesting. So she's got this picture, it's called Strategic Divorce Decisions. She's working on it, so she wants, if people come there, to people to know the site is coming soon. But then in another browser, and I got this screenshot from her, she can be working on her site on the inside. And on the outside, people who are not logged in will not see the inside. So that's a way to have kind of a under construction, coming soon, letting people know that you got a site coming. All right, I want to know, for the people who are here on the call, are you currently using more than one browser? So, are you currently using more than one browser? So we got some yeses, some nos. You can just type on the screen. Are you currently using more than one browser? And it's okay if you're not sure. All right, I think I'll close the poll and share the results. So it's almost 50-50. All right, well then you are in a good place because I'm hoping by the end of this call today, I will have convinced you that it's a good thing to use more than one browser. So if you don't have a second browser, you can download one for free. And these are, let me just show you where you go to download these. And I might be going a little fast, so don't worry because we're going to send out all these links out in a replay email. So you don't have to copy everything down. But I want to show you what it will look like when you're going to these different places to download. So if you want to download Chrome, if you don't have it already, you can go to google.com/Chrome. Firefox, if you don't have that already, go to getfirefox.com. And Jenny's saying, she does have Safari, but she didn't like it. Jenny, I'm the same. I have a Mac and a PC, and I'm not really crazy about Safari, so I use Chrome and Firefox. Now, the benefit of both Chrome and Firefox is they're both independent of PCs or Macs, so your time spent learning them will translate well. Safari, if you're on a Mac, this is the main browser for a Mac, and it comes already installed. If you're on a PC, I think you can get it. I'm not sure. I don't use Safari on my PC, but there's the link to download that. And again, if you're on a Mac, you probably already have this. And then here's Explorer, and I just wanted to show you they're changing their logo. So this logo switching to this logo, and this is just a little side note. This is part of that design trend that I personally am not crazy about, which is to make everything flat on the web. I liked it better when things were more three-dimensional. That's just me. Maybe it's because I was in special effects, but I'm showing both logos. So if you want Explorer, you can download it. They are phasing it out for a new thing called Microsoft Edge. I stopped using Internet Explorer years ago because it didn't really work well with WordPress, so I abandoned it for Firefox, and now I use Firefox and Internet Explorer the most. And Rhonda's also saying she likes the 3D. I just think visually it's easier to read if it's three-dimensional than two-dimensional, but it's a design trend. I'm hoping it ends soon, but you'll notice lots of websites are now very flat looking. Anyway, that's just a little personal opinion. Let's get back to the topic at hand, and let's go to tip number 2. Tip number 2, which is tabbed browsing. And if you just joined us, I'm going to be going through these tips, and then I'm going to be demoing them live on the internet in case you missed the very beginning. It's not a big deal. Okay, tip number 2, use tabbed browsing. Now, before I show you what tabbed browsing is, let me explain what the problem is, right? Because before you come up with a solution, you have to figure out your problem. So here's the problem. When you're trying to work online and you've got multiple windows, and this is what I did before I learned about tabbed browsing. You've got one window up and then you want to switch to another website. You bring this one up and then it's obscured. I wanted to bring my calendar up to see if I could make the webinar, and you're going back and forth, and it's really hard to function and work quickly. Because with these productivity tips, I want to help you to work faster. So the solution is tabbed browsing. And I just want to know, let's see, I might have a poll. Let's see, do I have a poll for this? No. So I just want to know, before I get into teaching it, are you already using tabbed browsing? Just type in the question box yes or no, or I'm not sure. So we got some yeses, some no's. and some people are not sure. Okay, cool. So let's explain what tab browsing is. So here's a screenshot of Chrome, and in one tab I'm on Wikipedia, and then I can see up here my other tabs. So let's say you're working on the internet and maybe you're in Facebook and then you're going to CNN to look at news and you're looking up stuff on Wikipedia. By having tabbed browsing, you can open websites in new tabs, still have the old tabs there, and it makes it easier to switch back and forth. And so it makes your work faster when you can switch between tabs versus hunting on your computer for where did your browser window go. So let me show you a practical application. When I'm building a website, I'll have two tabs open. So I'll have in one tab, and you have to sort of I kind of need to animate this, and I think I'll when I go to the demo I'll show you this. I have one tab that shows me the administrator view, and then I have another tab which shows me the outside view. So I'm looking at the inside and the outside with multiple tabs. So here's some tabbed browsing shortcuts, and I'm going to demo this, so this will all make more sense when I do the live demo. To open a new tab, you do Control T. To switch between tabs, you do Control Tab, or this is a Mac Apple command. Or to close the tabs, you do Control W. So that'll close your tabs. And I want you to hang on, because at the end I'm going to give you a gift, which is a PDF download of these shortcuts. So hang on for that. All right, so tabbed browsing gets even better, because what you can do is you can pin your tabs for faster efficiency. So how does that work? Pinning a tab. You right-click on a tab and it will pin it over to the left. So here I have different browser tabs up, but these ones are pinned to the left for sites that I might be going to a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of PowerPoint, and I'm going to go to the internet. I'm going to do some demos, and then I'll come back to do tip number 3. Okay, so now I am in Firefox. I'm using Firefox right now, and I'm on my opt-in page for today's call. So let me open a new tab. So I can click the plus sign up here to open a new tab, or I can hit the keyboard Control T. So whatever's more comfortable for you, either the plus or Control T. And I can go here to Facebook. So now I've got Facebook up here. I can go to my personal profile on Facebook. And let's say I want to go to my blog, websitecreationworkshop.com. That'll take me over to my blog. Now let's say that I want to keep Facebook up, but I want it out of the way. So I'm going to show you how to pin a tab. If you right-click on the tab and you do Pin Tab, it now pops it over to the side and it has a little F there. So I could have a lot of sites up, a lot of things I'm doing. So let's say I want to go to Google, And if anybody has a website they want to call out, I'll bring up a whole bunch of websites. Let's say I want to go to my calendar, calendar.google.com. Hopefully I spelled that right. And maybe I want to pin the tab. So now I have on the side these two little, so let's say I'm working, but I want to always keep up Facebook and my calendar. I can have that up. All right, let me bring up another, let's see, buildingatinylife.com. So this is one of my students who took the website creation workshop, and she teaches people how to live in tiny little homes, which is very cool. Another one, rivianwolf.com, is another one of my students who took the website creation workshop. So let's say this is my site. I can right-click and pin the tab. So now I have these different tabs here. Maybe throughout the day I want to visit all the time, but I might have lots of, let's go to CNN.com. Maybe I have lots of other sites up, and you have to be careful because you can wind up with way too many tabs up here at the top. Maybe I want to go to my website creation workshop members area classroom. So maybe I have this up at the top. This is my training area, and I'll be talking about this next week. But that is tabbed browsing and pin tabs. So let me go to bring up my second browser. So when you're working on your site, so notice here I'm on my blog, but I see this top toolbar because I'm logged in. But if I want to view this as somebody who is not an administrator, by having a second browser, so now this is, I'll make this small. So this is Chrome, this is Firefox. Sometimes this is the admin toolbar in WordPress. Having this can be a distraction, and you can't quite get a good sense of how is the outside world going to see your site. So that is why it's good to have a second browser. So let me come over here to my favorite plugins. So here's my coming soon for my favorite plugins.com, and I am not logged in, so I can't see the inside. If I come over here and I go to my favorite plugins, and I think I'm still logged in, now I can see the inside, and I'm still building it, so I don't want people to see my mess while I'm building, but I want to be able to view the outside. So that is why I have a second browser window. I'm hoping that makes sense. I think I'm going to pause because I think I want to, before I continue on, because I'm going to go on to bookmarks. How do you pin on a Mac? You should be able to right click. Yeah. So if you don't have I have a Mac and it has a right click, so you should be able to right click on a Mac. If you can't right click on a Mac, you must have a very old mouse. So it's a control click. All right, let me try that. Control Control click, and then the pin tab will come up. So control click and pin tab will come up. I can right click on my Mac. I'm trying it now because I have a newer Mac. If you've got a really old Mac, you should probably upgrade or get a new mouse. But if you hit control and then you click, so if you hit the control button, let's see, will that work here? No. On a Mac, control click does work to bring up the little dialog so that you can pin it. So I'm right clicking and I can say pin tab. So now I am on Google, and so let's say let's see, I send emails out with Aweber. If I want to be in Aweber all day, I could pin it and see how it's coming up tiny on the left. So here's my blog, and I can right click and pin the tab, and now I see the little ones over there. So if you want to unpin, all you have to do is right click and say unpin tab. So it's pretty convenient. Now, often when I'm working, I'll get lots of tabs up here. So if I want to close a tab, I usually just hit the X, but you can also do Control W, and that will close a tab. And that works in Firefox as well as Chrome, Control W, or for a Mac, it is Apple Command W. So that little clover leaf Apple Command thing, I don't have a visual of the Apple Command. All right, let's see, how are we doing? You can also move tabs around. You can click and drag and move tabs around. I do that a lot. But I find this easier than saying File, New Window. So here's a new window, and then you got to kind of move it around, and then you lose it, and you have to find it down below. So I like tabs better. I believe I can go up like that, and that makes it large. But if for some reason you want this to be its own window, you can click and drag it down, and now it's made its own window. Now, I hope I'm not going too fast. So let me see, I never put windows back. Nope, I can just go there again. I can just copy this, and I can paste it in here. All right, so let me close this window. Click that little X and get back to I think I'll get back to my PowerPoint, and then I'll take more questions in the end. Although, let me just answer this question. Why is pinning better than just making the site a favorite and putting it on your favorites bar? I'm going to cover that next. Why I like pinning is these stay up here and they stay on the left side. So as I'm working on the internet and I'm bringing up lots of different sites, and maybe I'm not always in Google, but I'm moving around, but maybe there's some places that I'm always going all day long. And notice how it uses less real estate as it gets pinned over there. So just a cool little trick. I'm going to go back to my PowerPoint. All right, so I finished demoing that, and again, I'll take more questions at the end. Tip number 3, bookmark popular sites. So you want to bookmark sites for faster surfing. And what are bookmarks? Bookmarks are also called favorites or shortcuts. It's a way to save your favorite frequently used websites for easy access. It can be shown in the Bookmarks toolbar or Bookmarks menu section, allowing you to visit a site with a click instead of having to type the URL. So what you want to do, and I'll show you how to do this, if there's a site you go to a lot, you're going to want to click and drag and make a bookmark. So with bookmarks and tabbed browsing and pinning, all these little things add up to make your life easier when working on the internet. All right, so let me demo bookmarks. All right, so I'm in Firefox and I have my bookmarks turned off. So I want to go to View, Toolbar, Bookmarks. And as you can see, I have a lot of bookmarks already. I've got a lot of bookmarks here. So if I want to go somewhere, for example, my Google Plus page, I can just click here and I don't have to type in my Google Plus. Or let's say I wanted to go to Facebook. I could type facebook.com, but it's a lot faster to just click on my bookmark because these are sites that I go to a lot. So if I want to go to Twitter, I just click on this little icon and I'm here on Twitter. So let's see, let's say I wanted to bookmark, let's see, somebody type in a website and I'll go there and then I'll show you how to bookmark it. All right, Maureen says getesglobal.ca, so we'll go to her site. All right, so this is Maureen's site, and let's say she wants to bookmark her own site. So what I like to do is have them in the toolbar, and you'll notice I have a lot here. So if you come over here and you click and drag down, now I've dragged this down and it's in my toolbar. And it says Gettys Global. So I could shorten this if I want to fit more on the screen by right-clicking, going to Properties, and I want to call this GG. And now I see this here on the toolbar. So some places that I go to Gmail, I go to GoToWebinar, Aweber, Facebook. I've got a shortcut straight to my fan page. So if I want to be on my fan page, I can go right to my fan page, or I can go to, no, I wanted that to go away, or I can click to my personal profile, or I can click to Twitter, or I can click to my blog. So I have up here the sites that I go to a lot, or I can go to my webmail and read my webmail. So that is the benefit of bookmarking. Let's go to, let's see, Yoga Therapy South Austin. So Yoga Therapy South Austin.com. I think that's right. I'll wait for this to come up. So this is another one of my students who created this site, and to bookmark it, I can come up here and I can say bookmark this page, and it's going to ask me what I want to call it. So now it has the full name, and notice I could have also clicked this little star to bookmark it, and now I'm going to say done. And it should show up in here. No, it's somewhere else. So I mainly use bookmarks in this toolbar, View Toolbars, Bookmarks toolbar. But I have other bookmarks over here in the side for other places that I go to, but maybe I don't go to that often. And let's say there's a bookmark that you don't want anymore. You can right click and say delete and get rid of it. Okay, let's see, how are we doing on time? I think Um, I think we're doing pretty good. So let me just show you if I wanted to drag this down, because I mainly use my bookmarks here in my toolbar, and that is why I shorten the names. So these names are probably a little bit long, but you can see some of these others have really short cryptic names. If I click and drag, here, let me just click to an interior page of hers. But I'll go to the home page. So how to add this to your toolbar, you click and you drag it down. So now it says Yoga Therapy South Austin. I right click, go to Properties, and I could just type Yoga Therapy. That makes it a little bit shorter. All right, let's go to Chrome. And here I can see my bookmarks. So I'm in Chrome. Now here's the thing about Chrome that kind of bugs me. Let me bring this back up. It took me a while to kind of get used to this. I'm very used to having file, edit, view, history. I like that. On a Mac, you have that, but on a PC, you don't. So it's a little disorienting with Chrome not having that. So you have to remember to come over here, and now you have those kinds of tools like print, find, and here's bookmarks, and I can click to show my bookmarks bar. So here's my bookmarks bar, and if I wanted to bookmark this, my favorite plugins, I click on this little icon and I drag it down. So I could put it at the end, I can put it in the middle, and now I have a bookmark. So places you go often, you can just click around and get to quickly. So for me to be more productive, I bookmark on this toolbar, and I do have other bookmarks here, but I bookmark the places I go to most often. So I use a combination of two browsers. Chrome, right now Firefox is currently my main browser that I use. So I use a combination of tabbed browsing, pinned browsing, and these bookmarks. So I do very little typing. I mostly just click. I'll boot up my computer in the morning. My computer will come up. I'll click, open up a bunch of tabs, and then bookmark them. Now let me show you something. This might be hard to see. Notice here, Facebook, see how it has a little glowy thing? That's to let me know I have a notification, right? So somebody sent me a private message. So that little glowy thing will let me know about that. So that's a pretty cool feature. And let's say I want to have Twitter up a lot. I'm going to right click and I can pin Twitter. So notice it hopped over here. And here's Rivian's site. I think I'll unpin that. So I'll unpin that and I can X that out. And notice I have a notification on Twitter, so it's a little glowy. So this is, if you start to do this, you will increase how much you get done. I mean, I'll sit over people's shoulders and watch them painfully type things in. And it's really painful because I go, oh man, they could be working so much faster. And yeah, you can close your browser. So I'm going to close my browser, and I can bring my browser back up again, load it back up again. And my browser is set to remember all my tabs. So I can shut my browser down and then bring it back up. And that still works even if I turn off the computer. So Matthew, I just answered that question now. And Wayne is saying, cool, I never use the pinning feature. It will save you a load of time. Yeah, it does, and it saves you a lot of real estate. So see, now I have another notification. So Again, just be careful. You can get too many tabs and start getting quite distracted. All right, let me go back to PowerPoint and let's talk about browser shortcuts. So, you know those little shortcuts that through the woods that get you to grandmother's house more quickly? Well, this is what I want to teach you, some browser shortcuts. So what are they? Browser shortcuts are keystrokes that you memorize, and it makes doing things in your browser faster, such as searching, copying and pasting, and zooming in and out. So once you learn this, it'll save you a ton of time. So let's say you're trying to find some text on the screen. This is a control F or Apple Command F. And again, you're going to get a cheat sheet of all these, so you don't have to write them down. Control A will select text. Control C is copy, and Control V is paste. So those are browser shortcuts, and I will demo this. Then there's zooming shortcuts. So do you ever get to a website and it's just too darn tiny? Well, it's nice to be able to zoom in and out and read the website faster. Then also, these are the browser shortcuts to open a tab, switch between tabs, and close the tab. And I am going to give you this PDF cheat sheet. And Joanna, you can put it in the chat window, but I'm going to mail this out to you, and you can have this by your computer to help you remember all these little shortcuts, because these are things you just want to memorize. And just once you start memorizing this, it'll make things go a lot faster. All right, so let me demo some of these browser shortcuts. All right, so let's say you want to find something on the page. Control F. Hold on, Control F. When I do Control F, it brings up this little box, and I can type the word business, and it will find the occurrence of it on the page. So let's think of something. I'm going to think of a better website. But if you're trying to find something, let's say you're going to someone's site and you're looking for something, Control F will help you find it. And here there's only one instance of it. So let me think of where I could go. How about if I go to my blog, and I'm going to go to, oops, no, that's not it, timeline. And I'm going to say Control F, and I'm going to type in the word webinar. So here's the webinar, and now down here at the bottom, I can keep clicking next, and I can find all the instances of the word webinar on the page. So that's pretty convenient. Let me show it to you in Chrome. And you know what? I'm going to do that one more time. Let me close this. All right, I want to show you this other shortcut. If you stick your cursor in and do Control C, most of you probably already know this. Control C will copy. Then I'll bring up Chrome and, all right, let me do that. Unpin, this was pinned. All right, let me bring that up one more time. And Control V, that pastes that in. All right, so now I'm in Chrome, and I do Control F, and notice in Chrome it comes up here. So in Firefox, when you do Control F to find, it's down here. Chrome, it's up here, and I type webinar, and then it shows me how many occurrences, and it's just stepping through. And notice how Chrome is making them, highlighting them in yellow. Makes it a lot easier. The cheat sheet that I'm going to send you is for a Mac and a PC. So it's Apple Command F. So that's for Mac and a PC. Oh, let me bring that up. So let me make this smaller. So this is what that cheat sheet looks like, and I have it for you in a Windows PC or a Mac. So I show it to you in both. All right, to select text in an area, I'm trying to think of where I could go to select text. Control A will select the text. So let's see, how are we doing on time? I don't want to run out of time. So I think what I want to do is get to zooming. So Control A is if you want to select text. Copy text is Control C, Apple Command C. Paste is Control V, Apple Command V. Hey, I'm just curious, for those of you on the call, did you already know about the copy and paste, Control C and V? I just want to know if you already knew about that. Yeah, most people did. A couple people didn't. Okay, cool. But the zooming thing you're going to really love. So let's say you're on a site and the words are too small, right? Which drives me nuts. Sometimes the words are too small. You can zoom in by doing Control plus. So Control, let me make this bigger. Control and the plus sign will zoom things in. So Control plus. So if you don't have your reading glasses on and you want things to be bigger, Control plus or Control minus will zoom way out and make things really tiny. Then to get back to normal, Control 0 will get you back to normal. So sometimes I go to my site or wherever I'm going and I do Control plus to zoom in, and then I get zoomed in too much, so I do Control 0. Or let's say okay, boys left in woods still missing. All right, this is pretty big font, but you can Control plus, and now you don't have to get your reading glasses out. Control 0. So, oops. All right, somehow an ad came up. But this Control plus, boy, when I learned this, it made my life so much easier. And then sometimes you get like too zoomed out, so Control 0. It is really, really handy, and this is in your cheat sheet in Control 0 to get back to normal. Now, sometimes, let me just show you about getting to the top. So let's say you're way down here. Depending upon your keyboard, Control L will get to you to the top, or you hit the home key, and that'll zoom you back up to the top. So let's go to google.com and let's search for essential oils. Oh, and I didn't spell that right. Essential oils. So you're searching for essential oils, and maybe you're looking down. So maybe you're at the bottom of a web page. You hit the home button, and that scrolls you back up to the top. This is not something I use that much, but it's there for you to use, and that is Apple Command top arrow if you're on a Mac. Get to the top of browser. All right, open a new tab. I talked about that. Control T. Hang on. No, it won't work when I'm in here. Control T, because here I'm looking at a PDF. So Control T, and I can hit Control W to close that tab, Control W to close that tab. So, and then to switch between tabs, Control Tab. Now, I don't do this very often, but this is cycling me through. So Control Tab. Now, you don't have to memorize all of these, and we're going to email this to you so you don't have to write it down. But if you start to memorize some of these things, it's going to make your life a lot easier. So this just switches between them so you don't have to move. You don't have to move your mouse. All right. I think I want to go back to cover my last thing that I wanted to cover. All right. So my last tip is about using a password manager. Using a password manager. So let's face it, passwords are hard to remember. They are a pain in the butt. And it's because every website, some they have to be 8 characters, some they can be 6 characters. So the solution is use a password manager that will safely store your passwords online and make them available to you when needed. And so this tip number 5, is not a browser tip. It is a sort of living online tip. And here are different password managers you can use. I use LastPass, and it is free, lastpass.com. And then there's also RoboForm and 1Password. And I have not used 1Password. I used RoboForm for a long time, and I currently use LastPass because I can share it passwords with my team. And so I see Jim has used RoboForm for 5 years. He loves it. So some people like RoboForm, some people like LastPass, some people like 1Password. I do believe they'll all work on Macs or PCs. And if you use anything else, I've never used KeePass, so there's probably others as well. The trick is to not have to remember your passwords, to be able to go somewhere and just quickly log in. And I know that LastPass, you can have it work across your different computers. So it is really handy. So just go to these and try them out. But it's going to save you a lot of time if you don't have to look up passwords. So to recap, 5 productivity tips, and we will be emailing out this cheat sheet. Use multiple browsers. If you don't have a second browser, go download one. Use tabbed browsing to make it easy to be on different sites. Bookmark your favorite websites. Memorize some browser shortcuts and use a password manager. And I wanted to let you know that next week I'm going to be doing a free webinar because I will be starting my summer 2016 website creation summer camp for you to create your website this summer. And the link there is websitecreationworkshop.com/webinar. I am doing a webinar next week, and I'll be running it 2 different times. And we will be emailing out about that. So I am ready to take questions.